So in December of 2024, right before Christmas, Will walked into my studio and told me that part of the trim looked a little bit off. He went in, looked at it, and was able to put his finger right through it. I was not excited to find out that we had major termite and water damage in my studio about a week or two before Christmas. And on top of that, we were leaving for the holidays and it was going to have to sit there. And then right after we came back from the holidays, I had clients scheduled for a studio session. So my stress was through the roof, and we didn't even know the first thing about how to get this treated, how to start the renovation process. And we only had a few days to do it in. So here's some of the pictures of what you can see that it looked like. Will came in here and he had to do the entire amount of demolition himself. I have asthma and mold allergies, so I couldn't be anywhere near it or I would probably still be wheezing. So he worked such long hours in here, ripping it all apart, dealing with the mold, mitigating everything, getting the termites treated so that we could leave for our trip on time and at least know that there wasn't an active problem. So he gets it to a point that we're able to leave for our trip, but of course the whole time we're still thinking about what has to be done, what next steps are, and could we even finish it in time before my clients come here? What am I going to do if I don't have a studio and it's 30 degrees outside? So with all of that racing through our heads is how we spent the holidays. We came back and we flew into renovation mode. I think we now know every single employee at Home Depot, and we were able to get everything that we needed and start the renovation process. Will decided though that it wasn't enough to just throw some drywall back in and keep it the way it was with our lovely 1970s textured walls. He wanted to make it elevated and beautiful. So he built out these beautiful boxes and he made my studio absolutely gorgeous. And I kid you not, we finished the final painting just a little bit before my client came in. We had HEPA filters running and everything to get rid of the odor, and we just cleaned obsessively as we were going. And nobody ever knew a thing. I did tell them, of course, because that's just kind of who I am. But they wouldn't have known if I hadn't told them. So thankfully, we were able to put it back together. It was an immense amount of stress to lose my studio right before the holidays in a busy season with a hard deadline. But, you know, we figure it out. We put it back together and we just operate with one foot in front of the other. So if you're feeling overwhelmed that there's these big emergencies that keep cropping up and getting in your way and hijacking your attention from the other projects that you actually want to be doing, you are not alone. This was not an anomaly for us this year. We had several huge things happen that just blindsided us, and it felt like we got swept off course. But in actuality, we were able to come back bigger and better and knowing a little bit more about what we wanted to do and how to do things better in the future. So not to say that there's always a silver lining, but I do think that it's how you see things and how you're able to look at things in life. Because nothing's ever going to be perfect. There is never going to be that calm sea of tranquility where the stars just align and everything just happens as it's supposed to, because that's not life or reality. What is when crap like this happens, and it's how you respond to it. Do you throw in the towel, or do you get down to business and you solve that problem? Because that's what's going to separate you if you're able to become a small business owner and maintain it and have that staying power year after year after year. If I've learned anything through all the crazy things that life has thrown in our path these last few years, is honestly just that I love the security of owning my own business. And I know that that can sound kind of crazy because, well, security in a small business, things are constantly trying to destroy it. But really though, if you think about it, if you work for an employer, you're at their mercy all the time. You might think you're secure, but there could be layoffs, there could be mergers, you could get sick and hurt, who knows? But when you have a small business, the power lies with you. Nobody gets to tell you that you are done except for you. And I love having that power. I don't feel helpless anymore. When these crazy things happen and they sideswipe us, yeah, I sit there, I feel my feelings, I go through all the stages of grief with it for sure. call my friends and complain. And then after I've felt my feelings and processed that, I get back to work and I work on the things that I can solve. So I hope that if you're in a season where things just aren't going right, where you're frustrated, that maybe this can give you a little bit of hope that things aren't always like glossy and exciting and wonderful and beautiful travel and making lots of money. This is the real stuff that happens to small business owners too. This is the stuff that determines if you can get over these humps and get to those bigger, better, and more beautiful things. So I hope that if you're going through a hard season, that it gets better for you soon. And I would really encourage you to join our Facebook group, Underwater Portraiture with Kimber Greenwood, to find a really safe, wonderful community that you can be part of and be your most authentic self. You don't have to show up perfect with your highlight reel intact. You can show up as a real human being with your own successes and failures every single day.